The headline from the Senior Bowl is what, Daniel Jeremiah? What is it?
I would say it's a good edge rush group, and I think that's going to be kind of the larger draft class. A lot of times down here in Mobile, it's a little microcosm of what the class as a whole will look like.
Yes, sir.
So that to me, and man, it's been some good edge rushers, and Derek Moore, your kid from Michigan's been as good as anybody.
Oh yeah, my boy Cooper player. Showed me who did he punk the tackle from
the big tackle
Miami?
From Miami. Yeah, he was about 6'9", 350 pounds, and he flat backed him. Yeah, so there's some exciting edge guys to kind of find in this draft, and I think really day 2, if you got a bunch of day 2 picks, it's really good value. You can find amongst that group. Quarterback wise, it's just been kind of okay. We've had years before where obviously we've had the big dogs here. We've had Josh Allen here. We've had Herbert here just a couple years ago. Yeah. We had Penix and Bo Nix. That group is that talent is not here at that position, which is going to inform what happens, as we get through free agency, and you'll start hearing names like Malik Willis, and does somebody want to trade for Mac Jones? And, that's going to lead to an interesting market there. And I think Sam Darnold finding the success he's found on his 5th team is going to, inform some teams that, hey, you don't necessarily have to always get these guys through the draft.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to turn that light behind you off, actually.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Here we go. Let's see if we can just flip that one off. No, not that one. The other one. He's going to do that.
He's got the camera that follows him around.
No, my God, you turned the wrong light off. He doesn't know.
No. That's better.
Is that better?
How's that?
Is that better?
How's that?
It's slightly better, but we mean the other one.
The other light, the one behind you, but now it's going to be...
Oh, that one.
Yes.
You won't even see me.
No, that's why you keep the other light on, Daniel.
Well, we're waiting.
Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works.
I feel like
much better. Believe it or
not.
Like
I should be talking to Delilah.
This is all good. No, this is good.
Delilah after dark.
No, this is good. You got like a Harvey Dent thing going on a little bit here, which is fine. Okay, very good. Careful, don't sing on the.
You don't want them getting on you about humming a melody, DJ. It's the worst thing ever.
All right, now turn the other light on. The one that the first one you turned off. This is the Emmy Award material here.
It probably is.
This is going to work.
I think
this is the winner.
I think this is going to be.
This is going to be the win. This is for the win. FTW, yeah, baby.
Okay.
How
about that?
Much better. All right.
Okay.
So jumping into it. Now we've got your mock draft, your first mock draft, right? We got that.
That's out there.
Okay, here we go. Pop it up if you don't mind. You've got Fernando Mendoza is going to be a Raider at the end of the day. Not concerned about him going to a spot where he's not protected. The Raiders don't care. They're going to just got to get the guy and win your first overall. Is that what you believe?
Yeah, and I think the Jets would effort with all the picks that they've accumulated to try and see if they could pry that pick away from the Raiders. And the buzz down here amongst all the teams is there's no chance the Raiders would trade off of that pick.
You think the Jets would trade up for Fernando?
Oh, I 100% think they would.
No kidding.
100%.
Whoa.
Yeah,
but they're not ready either. They're not ready either.
No, but it's not going to. It's irrelevant because they're not going to pass up an opportunity to get Mendoza. I don't think the Raiders would do that.
So Mendoza people have fallen that deep in love with Fernando Mendoza atop this draft.
Oh, yeah, I think the way he finished everything up, and Rich, like to me, when you look at how he did on some big third downs, you look at how he did in the red zone, you look at how he did in big moments after getting drilled. We talked about that on Sunday,
right?
Just how he's reacted to that. So you get accuracy, you get toughness, you get somebody who's been big in big moments. That's a pretty good place to start. Oh, by the way, he's 6'5", he's big. You saw on the big touchdown run, he can move around enough. And I don't know that there's ever been a quarterback more equipped to not be distracted by Las Vegas than Fernando Mendoza.
Okay. So the Jets are going to try, and it's not going to – because I honestly thought, DJ, that the Jets getting picks in next year's draft is when they're going to be targeting their quarterback, and that may happen anyway. But you're saying it's because it won't be for a lack of trying to have the Raiders move off of Mendoza.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of that's the buzz down here was that, hey, the Jets, I mean, I'm not saying they would trade all their picks that they've accumulated, but, they're this close to being able to get a guy that they would, try and make an effort to do that. But it would be a moot point because they're not going to move off of it, that the Raiders seem to be pretty in love with Fernando Mendoza, did their homework. Obviously, we saw who was in attendance for the national championship game. And when you're in a position like this, there's a, it looks like a really intriguing group coming up next year. but there's no guarantee you're going to be in the right position to be able to get that guy. So right now you're sitting on a guy that has all the, the measurables, has the intangibles. I don't see the Raiders listening to any of those offers.
Okay. So if we put the top 10 up once again, then you would have, and we'll put a pin in the Jets for a moment as well. You've got because everybody's putting Jeremiah Love and basically Sharpie for the Chiefs. You think the Saints would jump the line for him? Is that what you're thinking right now?
There is a lot of excitement around Tyler Shuck and listening to folks down here as well, talking to some guys around that organization, and in that organization, there's an excitement there, and they want to give him some more toys to play with. And that's the best toy in the draft, in my opinion, is Jeremiah Love. So I know it's going to be popular. I've been, beating the drum for the Chiefs to add a dynamic back to kind of help solve some of their problems that haven't been able to overcome with teams playing this umbrella coverage across the league. It really started because of their success and limiting explosive plays, and they haven't had a run game to totally capitalize on those looks to help Patrick Mahomes. So I've been, championing them getting it back. I would love to see Jeremiah Love there, no pun intended. But in this case, if I'm the Saints, Jeremiah Love's one of the top 2 or 3 players in this draft class, and you've got a chance to add him. You've got your tackles in place. They've got 2 first-round tackles that with Banks and Fuaga. Now you've got the quarterback. Man, now you could say, okay, now we add this running back in here who not only is a runner, but they know what it's like to see backs that can really catch the ball out of the backfield in that city, watching that team, and this dude can catch the heck out of it.
So just looking at your top 10 again, you got 2 offensive tackles. You obviously have the quarterback going first, and you've got a running back there at 8 in everybody else's defense. So that you just think that this is the way the top 10 is going to go, edge, line, just basically line play. I know Sonny Styles is listed as a linebacker, but man, is he just absolutely everywhere. Awesome. Right. And we saw what Bain did in the national championship game, and then also in all those games leading up to it for Miami. That's the way you see the top 10. And
yeah, I mean, keep in mind, Rich, an exercise that you're doing when at the time, I think there were 4 or 5 teams had yet to hire a head coach. We have not had free agency.
Got it.
Subject to change,
of course.
Much like the lighting in my hotel room.
You want to turn that light on behind you again, or just moving on? Daniel Jeremiah here on the Rich Eisen Show. Moving on to your middle 10. So you think the Jets go shopping in the Columbus, Ohio store? You've got Arvell Reese at 2, and then Carnell Tate at 16. They're gonna, my gosh, it'll be all Buckeyes in that receiver room. Garrett Wilson coming back and Carnell Tate together. You like that?
Yeah, well, we've got mutual friends in the media business that are Jets fans, and they thought I was just trying to curry favor with this first mock draft,
right,
because of the talent there. Look, Carnell Tate is one of the 10 best players in this draft. I was just looking at it historically as you play with scenarios, and you look at the JSNs and the Justin Jeffersons and Ibuka. We've seen a lot of these really, really good receivers have kind of landed in this area of the draft. So is that a dream scenario? Yeah, sure. But I still think it's possible because we see receivers, just about every year you get a big time dude that lands in this area of the draft. So I think he's worthy of going much higher than that. And who knows, he could be sitting up there for the Cleveland Browns, right for the taking, somebody right down the road who would fill a need for them. It wouldn't shock me at all if he went all the way up there, but we've just have a history of seeing some really, really talented receivers drop into this spot.
Yeah, and you've got Denzel Boston of Washington going to the Steelers 21st overall. What's the talk down there as to who the next quarterback there is going to be?
Well, the thought before the head coach was named, but that was probably it on Aaron Rodgers. Everybody, at least around the league, expected that was, they're going to close that chapter. But then you hire Mike McCarthy and everybody's like, well, wait a second. There's obviously, it wasn't the smoothest ride there, but they had so much success together, and looking at the other options that are there, maybe that door is still open, for Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think anybody has a clear understanding of what direction they're going to go there. But I do know, and I've said this, before he was hired, but there is some love and support in that building for Will Howard, not just amongst guys who've been there, but, from a coaching standpoint, but from a player standpoint. There's a lot of guys in that team that like him, and he's a 6th-round pick, and how high are the expectations? Look, the guy won a national championship. He's big, he's strong, he can move around a little bit. He's someone that I think they would at least like to see what they have there.
And looking at your final picks, mock draft again for everyone at home, this is just a mock draft. We haven't had the real thing. Obviously, this is just a general sense of who you believe are in your top 32. But I do have to point out that you have the Patriots drafting 31st overall and the Seahawks 32nd overall. That must mean you believe the Seahawks are about to win Super Bowl 60. Daniel Jeremiah.
It depends. It depends. If the Seahawks win, yes, of course I knew. If they don't, then that's an editor issue.
Good one, sir. Blame the editor.
Nice. Well
So
done.
then why do you believe? Let's break it down. That's my way of turning the page here. What's your thoughts on Super Bowl 60, DJ?
Well, I think they have the better roster, and that doesn't always mean that they're a team that's going to win. I think if you go back a few years ago and look at the San Francisco roster versus the Kansas City roster, I thought the San Francisco roster as a whole was better. But when you had Mahomes, and Chris Jones and Kelsey, who can maximize and take that number of quality players and expand it because of how special they were in those moments, that's to me is the Patriots' way to try and win this game. I think Seattle will win, but if you're going to say what's the formula for the Patriots to win, it's Drake May making plays with his legs as well as his arm. It's Milton Williams against Bradford as a matchup I think heavily favors the Patriots. What can he do? And then can Gonzalez find a way to take the ball away? I think those are their kind of 3 big difference makers. But I think as a whole with their roster, I think Sam Darnold has to just play a B game. If he plays his B level game and lets all the talent around him play, I think Seattle wins that game.
What's the coaching hire down there that everyone's talking about that we're not talking about in the media as a great fit, Daniel?
Well, I mean, to me, to be perfectly honest, the hire that's gotten the most attention is not a head coaching hire. It's been Mike McDaniel with the Chargers.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's the excitement of you get those tackles back healthy that missed, almost the entire season. In Slater's case, he did. But you get Slater and Alt, and you've got Hampton, who's got, the size and the speed. And then you pair up Herbert with what he can do to expand an offense. And now you put the creativity of Mike McDaniel in the mix there. I think there's a healthy intrigue there and excitement about what that can look like. So, and maybe that's because people know I call Charger games, so they've brought that up with me. But
yes,
that's been the name that I've heard more than any other name.
So then, who's in the draft that you think would fit for McDaniel? Right, like I was saying yesterday, getting an Achane type guy. Obviously, anybody would take an Achane type guy. But what do you think? Do they need somebody like him, or do you think the Chargers need another receiver? What do you think, DJ?
I think they're in pretty good shape with the skill positions, Rich. When you look at Aronde Gasson Jr., what he did at the tight end position, who's really athletic, you have a 2-headed monster. When the run game almost got disguised because the offensive line was so beat up.
Right.
So when you get Hampton, Kamani Vidal, like those are 2 really good young backs. Trey Harris, the rookie last year at Ole Miss, he played well. Ladd McConkey, I think he'll find a way to maximize him with his skill set. And then Quentin Johnston can really, really run. So to me, it's about getting the interior of the offensive line fixed. So, to me, looking more in that direction to kind of fortify that with those tackles coming back. I think their skill, and he even said that at the press conference, he was excited about the guys they've accumulated over the last 2 years. And that's the core of their skill guys, all on rookie contracts, all costing you next to nothing.
All right. So then let's go here. If you're willing to take a bite at this, the team that everyone down there talking to you is saying, what's this team's malfunction? What is that, Daniel? Is there one or not really?
I look, the scouts can be a cynical bunch.
I know, that's why I'm asking
you. As someone who has been in that community,
yes.
Just the Browns. I think all the information that came out on the Browns process, and I think that's easy because if it's the Browns or it's the Jets, it's kind of an easy punching bag.
Yes, sir.
But I think when it came out about writing essays and all that kind of stuff, that was that got a lot of attention.
Well, I mean, certainly some attention in my inbox was Wink Martindale being all teed up, and then he's looking for a staff. And then, oh, by the way, You're not calling the plays. I'll call the plays, says Aaron Glenn, and winks like I'm not interested. Is that an accurate assessment, do you think? Or I don't turn you into information man, but like, what are they saying down there about that? DJ?
Well, I mean, there's nobody left. It was like the Will Smith meme or whatever with AG kind of looking around, and there's just nobody on the coaching staff.
Right.
So I mean it's kind of bizarre to see in 1 year just to wipe out darn near everybody. And so it's different. It's a different way of doing things.
All right.
I will say this. I'll tell you this whenever we get a chance to get together in person again.
Yes, sir.
I was at the Atlanta airport connecting to come into Mobile, and I won't say the team, but there was an executive from a team, and I was kind of parked a couple terminals or a couple gates away from my gate because I just kind of want to get some stuff done. And this person parked it, didn't see me. I'm wearing a hat. Parked it right behind me and had a very personal conversation with somebody in the organization with all sorts of goodies. And I'm just sitting there going, like, I feel like I should not be sitting here. I need to get up and move. Wow. I should not be hearing this at this point in time. So I would never air out that laundry publicly, but it was not the most, if we're going to grade like awareness, like a center being able to pick up a twist or a stunt, very low awareness in terms of having that type of a conversation in the airport, 2 gates away from half the league is flying to Mobile.
Yeah, so it's like leaving a playbook lying around, pretty much similar to that. You want to say which conference it was?
AFC or NFC?
I mean, no, I know this game. I know how you guys.
No. We won't ask the follow-up. I promise you, there are no follow-ups. There are no follow-ups.
AFC.
Okay, thank you. Greatly appreciate that.
Does your team wear red? Or?
No. I promise no follow-ups.
Yeah.
I promise.
He's a man of his word.
No,
Animal.
On behalf of everybody, a bird.
Mammal.
Okay, mechanical bird. All right. Hey, I got to be honest though. We had Jeff Hafley on the show. I love that guy. I've never chatted with him. Never like. I guess.
John Eric's good too. I mean, I like the fact those guys can't have history together and know each other really well. That's going to make life a lot easier.
Why?
When because you know when you're scouting and you're building a free agency plan and a draft plan, you know what he likes in players, you know what fits in that, especially a defensive scheme, what they're looking for. It's easy then to, translate that message out to your staff and be able to say, okay, this is what we're looking for. Let's narrow this pool of players and this is what we need and where we go. I think having that connectivity does make life a lot easier.
Okay. So, crystal ball it then, because, obviously I'll have you on post Super Bowl 60 and get things ready. What are we talking about going into the combine the most, do you think, Daniel?
Oh gosh, going into the combine the most.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it's going to be, just all these defensive linemen. We're going to be talking about, teams that have, in my opinion, we're going to come off of a Super Bowl that Seattle's just won with waves and waves of defensive linemen and pass rushers that have helped, lead this dominating defense. And that's going to be the copycat, formula. And fortunately, this draft has a ton of defensive linemen. So I think that'll be the topic of conversation.
All right, Daniel Jeremiah, great bed making. That makes, that's a great insight. That's a great window into another man's soul. I like it. Are there hospital corners? Are you a hospital corner?
No, I did not go to that level. I will say though, I fall back in, like I haven't scouted. I haven't scouted since 2012 with a team. I've been on the media side of things, but man, I come down here to the Senior Bowl and I just look up and I pull out my receipts and by golly, I've had Jimmy John's for dinner 5 nights in a row and it just slipped right back into it, man.
What's the go-to order?
Turkey Tom, easy on the mayonnaise. It's not complicated.
You're a simple man, but with a very complex job. Daniel, thanks for the time, man. You're the best. I will see you in Indianapolis, if not.
I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll have fun.
All right. Just again, I don't know what the line was going in, but the table is intact at the end of the conversation. So, did you take the under or the over? You took the under?
Yeah, that's not going to happen twice.
The phone on the floor?
I was under on the table.
My goodness gracious.
Look like a hardcore wrestling.
A lot of people noticed the Nike shoebox holding up the laptop is a little bit of a cheat code for those that do a lot of these shows.
Foam roller on the ground.
Yeah, that was
that was that. The foam roller and the Toomey backpack, tough. I don't know. It was tough to throw away both those, but I'm not getting shards in my back or in my hands, so those are both gone.
Daniel Jeremiah, it's not his first rodeo. Take care of yourself, bud. That's Daniel Jeremiah right here on the Rich Eisen Show. You can turn the lamps back on.
He threw away a Toomey backpack?
That's how you know it was bad.